Hey guys, it's Takasta here again. Welcome to another video review. So today I'll be reviewing the Artisan Hayate soft mousepad following my unboxing just yesterday. And this is by far, has just become one of my favorite mousepads to use. And it's, if I had to make an analogy, it's like when you meet the perfect girl and you approach her and you just have a good time, you have a blast talking to her. This is the kind of feeling when I got from using the Artisan Hayate for the first time. So, what is it? I'll go on and describe. So first on, just to move on the build quality of the Hayate Artisan Hayate. It's probably one of their higher end mouse pads and one I would say flagship mouse pads. In terms of the build quality, it's basically a cloth pad, but it has like hard element to it. So I would actually consider the surface to be somewhat of a hybrid of a cloth and a hard mat, but more on the cloth side. But it just feels harder. Next, it's just very tightly woven. As you can see, maybe in the pictures here, it's just extremely delicate how they woven the fabric on top of. I'll talk about the performance afterwards. Other than that, I have at the moment here the large pad. It comes in 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large. This is quite pricey. The large costs 3,700 yen without shipping, so you can do that conversion yourselves. Next, I'm going to talk about the foam. And the foam here, you can just see a comparison of like normal foam and just foam that other companies use. So I really enjoy and appreciate Artisan for using like very good quality foam. It just makes the experience a lot better as compared to the conventional bigger companies like Razer and SteelSeries or whatnot. Next, I'm going to be talking about the softness. So the softness is something I do have to mention because Artisan makes their mouse pads in 4 different softnesses. They make it in extra soft, medium, and hard. And actually, different softnesses of the mousepad actually affect the glide of the mousepad, even though the surface may be the same. So, for example, the Hayate, if for example it came in extra soft compared to maybe the medium, the glide would be different because of the pad being harder or the cushion being harder. It may glide quicker. For this one, it employs the soft hardness, and I think the soft hardness is probably my favorite because with the extra soft, I think it was too soft. With like the zero version, I didn't like that quite much, and I have a mid of the Shinkai, and that was slightly bit hard. So soft is probably my favorite. It's probably one of the perfect balances in terms of the hardness and the softness in comfort, so it doesn't really sacrifice and does a very good compromise. For the very bottom, they use, as again I introduced in the zero video, embossing kind of grip, and it's one of the best grips. I really appreciate Artisan for making it because when you put it on any surface, it is the best anti-slip surface grip I've seen in any mousepad. Because when it goes on, it basically, if you hear that, all the bubbles really stick to the surface, so it basically makes it impossible for you to move it, and it's just a very good quality. When you just touch it, you can feel the quality and effort and time which is put into it. So I really appreciate that for Artisan. Before I move on to the performance, I'll just talk a little about the lift-off distance. So lift-off distance is quite normal. There's nothing too special about it. I guess it's like any other cloth pad really, so there's nothing you need to be especially worried about. So for performance, I really like, because I did a bit of research on their website and they did a very good comparison of all their mice. I'll post here's a picture actually of them comparing all their mice in terms of different ways of comparing mouse pads, and some of the methods I didn't even know, but I'll just pick a few that I found were quite nice. So first, to talk about its speed. In terms of its speed, it's quite quick for a cloth mat, because I actually haven't seen a cloth mat which is this quick, even compared to the Galaxis Control Edition, where they kind of reduce the friction, or they kind of have like indentation to reduce the friction, reduce the surface area that your mouse touches the mouse pad. This feels like much more of a hybrid in the sense that it's similar to the Q-Pad CT. However, it's more on the cloth side. It's like, imagine a cloth mat and just add a degree of hardness to it. Therefore, as you can see, once the degree of hardness added to it, it just slides perfectly. And when I use perfect, I use it very subjectively because perfect is not for everyone. But for me, it is one of the best glides I've ever used. It's very hard to describe a glide for you or decide speed, so you really have to try it out yourselves. But in terms of speed, it's not as quick as hard mats. For example, the SNS Solo, which is usually hard mats are very quick. But you can tell already from just a simple test here. It's quite quick, and I like it. It's got very decent speed to have a cloth pad at, and it's extremely comfortable at this kind of speed. Next is the initial motion speed. Because it's a cloth mat, because there's a hard element to it, it does start quite quickly. So initial motion speed, the amount of effort it takes to like start the mouse. And coming to stopping the mouse. With slower cloth pads, obviously you can stop the mouse much easier because there's more traction, there's more friction, and stop it. With hard mats, it's harder. With like a SteelSeries SX, aluminum mouse pad, it's so quick that it's impossible to stop. So I think this achieves a very good balance because compared to the the Zero, it's much faster. In fact, I found the Zero Xsoft mouse pad from Artisan as well to be slightly rough on the surface. However, this surface, it's not exactly rough. It adds a hard element to it, but it's a very smooth hard element to it. So that's why I really like it. And the stopping is at a very, very, very good speed. Even though the mouse pad is quick, the stopping is very comfortable. And moving on to the smoothness. The smoothness is probably the one thing which I think merges and makes this mousepad stand out from the rest of the mousepad. Because if you can imagine any other hard mat or soft mat, or even cloth mats for example, it just doesn't feel so smooth. Even it's slow, sometimes slow even for fast pads. Even for SNS Solo, it's very, very smooth. However, you can always somehow feel the indentation or the bumps in below, even though your mouse is like moving very steadily. This is one of the only mouse pads where when I first used it, it just feels like I'm gliding on air. It just really feels like I'm gliding on air. Like there's absolutely no bumps, no indentation, or no nothing. I really can't express. I'm like a lack of words to express this feeling, but the smoothness is one of the best I've used. Even though the Shinkai, later on I'll explain, is actually technically more smooth than this mouse pad. But however, in terms of just this normal glide, I just enjoy this smoothness because it's not like you're gliding on marble and just kind of like rolls around, right? But it's just a very perfect balance. I absolutely love it. So in conclusion, the Artisan Hayate, one of the best mouse pads I've ever used, and I'm probably going to keep this for a very long time, not to dump this in anytime soon. This video is already very, very long, so I put a test video, a separate video, just go check it out afterwards. Thanks for watching, guys, and make sure you subscribe, and if you have a chance, pick up one of these, because you'll definitely not regret. Thanks for watching, guys.